Okay, so let's say we look at the concept of corresponding angles. I've got two parallel lines here, and I've got two parallel lines over here. And I want to locate all the different corresponding angles. Now we know that corresponding angles form the F shape, and they also equal. It's like if you got a bookshelf and you got all these books which are on there. This angle over here is in the same top right hand corner as that angle over there. So this angle here is corresponding to that angle over there. And then likewise, if you had to work out the angle at the bottom, which is this one over here, it's corresponding to that bottom one over there. So they also equal. And then on the left hand side, exactly the same thing follows. Top left follows with top left. And lastly, bottom left follows with bottom left. Now, with these parallel lines, we normally given, maybe let's say alphabet for this one. Let's say I got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H randomly, I, F, I've got I, J, K, L, M, N, O, and P. The arrows being parallel. I want to locate all of the corresponding angles. Okay, so where are all the corresponding angles found for this particular diagram? Okay. Let's start with the top left-hand corner for each one. B is corresponding to D because they both lie at the top. And B is also corresponding to H. And D is corresponding to N. So all of those angles will be corresponding and equal to each other. So if this angle is 80 degrees, that angle will be 80 degrees, that angle will be 80 degrees, that angle will be 80 degrees, for example. The next one is the left-hand side here. Now we know this adds up to 180, so this is 100 degrees. And it's corresponding to this one here, which is also 100 degrees. Over here, this will also be 100 degrees. Those two angles are corresponding, not those two, very too far from each other. So it works on the straight line, and there's the parallel lines over there, right? Because of these two parallel lines, those two angles are equal. And then this over here is also going to be 100 degrees. So corresponding angles working in blocks, one at a time, or two at a time. Okay. The next one is these two angles are corresponding. They're in the bottom left-hand side of the intersection. And at the same time, this is also on the bottom left, and this is on the bottom left. So those are corresponding to each other, 2 by 2, in a straight line, not across. And then lastly, this one here, which is F, will be corresponding to P, to L, and to J. So those correspond, those correspond, those correspond, and those correspond as well. Corresponding angles are equal over here. So when we write this out, we can say, for example, if I have to have a statement and I have to have a reason, I could say A equals C. And the reason is corresponding, and I can write it short, CORR, angles. And I'll just put parallel lines because I haven't labeled these parallel lines. So this would be, if this was A and B, this would be C and D, then you know A, B is parallel to C and D. So statement, reason, A equals C, corresponding angles, parallel line. For example, I could also say A equals G, corresponding angles, parallel lines. Okay. All right, and that's corresponding angles in a nutshell.